Hello there. Today we're going to take a look at a problem that I haven't had to solve too often. It is how to take a contact from one Infusionsoft application and send them to another Infusionsoft application, or to basically distribute a contact from one app to another app. And there's a couple reasons you might want to do this. In today's case, a certain business had a referral relationship with another business. And when this first business gets a lead, it needs to send that lead from their Infusionsoft application to a totally different Infusionsoft application. And they get money if that person turns into a sale. And in setting it up, I found there's actually an Infusionsoft bug that is probably not going to be fixed. So there is a workaround, so I wanted to show it to you. Let's take a look. So it's really important when you're doing this to understand that there is a sending Infusionsoft application and a receiving Infusionsoft application. So I have both up here. I've blurred out their application names and API keys. We don't want that out there. So let's dig in. What we need to do is first you need to start. First you start with the sending Infusionsoft application, the one that's going to be sending the contact to the other one. And we're going to go to admin settings. First, we have to create a relationship between the two Infusionsoft applications before we can send data across. Then we're going to set up some rules for that relationship, and then we're going to create an action set. You have to use an action set because only the legacy action sets in Infusionsoft are able to boot a lead from one app to another. So let's take a look. Admin settings, relationships tab. You probably, if you've ever been in this tab, you probably wondered what these are for. You don't really use them unless if it's not this case scenario. So we're going to go to our receiving Infusionsoft application, and we're going to copy the application name. It's before the .infusionsoft. It's usually 2 letters and 3 numbers. If you have an older account, it might just be a word or a phrase or something. And we're going to paste that in the first one. Then we need the API key of the receiving account. And so for that, we're going to go to admin settings. We're going to go to application. And you might need to, if you haven't used your API key, you might need to put in the passphrase. It doesn't matter. Just put any word in there. And then you can grab the encryption key, and we'll take that back and put that in paste that in the second thing and press save. And you now have a relationship between your accounts. Next, we're going to go and set up the rules for that relationship. And we have a few here, which I blurred out, but if you press create new rule, you can create one. Once you create a new rule, you need to name it something that you'll recognize, because we're going to choose this name in a minute when we go and create the action set. And then you're going to need to say the rule type. I always put always true. You can make rules or data on the contact record, but just say always true most of the time. Make it easy on yourself. And then you need to choose the application that you have the relationship with. Press save, and now you have a new rule. Great. So we have the relationship. We have this rule, the distribution rule. Now we need to go and create the action set. So we'll go to the main logo, marketing settings. I'm going to go to action sets on the bottom left. And we're going to create an action set. So if you press add an action set, you can create a brand new one. I'm going to look up one I already have. I always like, whenever you're creating action sets, I always like to start it with a little star, because that way you know that a human created it and not back in Infusionsoft creating action sets. So I like to start with a little star. And we want to choose the rule, distribute a record to another Infusionsoft application. You may have seen this here, but maybe never used it. That's how the case was for me. So you choose that, and then you're able to set up this distribute rule. You're going to choose the distribution rule that we just created. I called it leads. And then you have this option here, and this is what I want to talk about, because this is the part that has the problem. When you boot a lead from one app to another, you have the option here to trigger an action set in the receiving Infusionsoft application. However, I have been informed and seen through experience that this is broken. There's a bug. It doesn't work. It doesn't trigger the action set in the receiving app. That's disappointing. Very disappointing that they don't explain it. It is what it is. Rather than complain about it, we have to find a workaround, and that's what we've done. So we're going to show you. So don't even bother filling this out. It doesn't work. You can try it if you want. You need to have the action set in the receiving app and then have its ID and put it in here. But it doesn't work, so don't bother. So press save, and we now have our action set. We need to create a campaign that triggers that action set. So we're going to go to the campaign builder. We're going to go into a campaign here. I'm just going to go into kind of a random campaign. What we want to do here essentially for this case is to say, hey, me as the referring business, the sending business, when somebody fills out a web form or something, I want to boot them over to the other account. So I have a form and I have this sequence. I have a little email here just for fun, and I have a start button, and then it will trigger the action set. And this action set, you choose the action set you just created to boot them from your app to the receiving app. There we are. All right, we've now set up in the sending app everything we need to have the contact booted from this app to the new one. Let's go into the receiving app now. So in this receiving app, we have a problem. It doesn't help us that it just boots the contact over from the other app. We need them labeled somehow so we can tell which leads have been sent over. And we also may want to start automation, and we can only do that, we can only do that automatically through labeling them somehow, right? The tag would be nice, or some action. So while it's unfortunate we don't have a way to trigger an action set remotely, we do have something called the incoming action set. And you get here by going main logo, admin settings, application, and then it's going to be down at the bottom. What this does, the incoming action set, and it's kind of its sister, incoming action set update. What this does is any contact that comes into Infusionsoft, into this receiving Infusionsoft account, any contact that's brought over via API, Infusionsoft can trigger this action set on that contact. So that's what's happening here. We're sending a contact from one application over into this receiving Infusionsoft application. And whenever something comes through like that via API, whether it's how we're doing it now, or maybe some other third-party application, this action set can run on that individual. So we're going to use that here to apply a tag. Now, you're probably seeing the downside. Well, hey, what if I already have other third-party applications sending contacts into my app? Can I use this? Well, it gets more complicated, certainly. So this is a good solution if you don't have any other third-party applications connecting, booting contacts over. This works really well. If you do have somebody coming over, I was talking with Abe, and we came up with kind of the idea that it still works as long as that contact, when it's booted over, is being labeled somehow. Then you could put them through a decision diamond in a campaign to sort those who came just through this distribution process and others that have come from the third-party app. So still possible, but certainly more complicated. Let's take a look at this. So we're going to use the incoming action set whenever a lead is added, which is happening here. And we are going to press add action, and we're going to apply a tag. In this case, we're going to apply two tags, the imported lead tag and the leads tag. They just wanted two tags. One of these tags is actually going to start a whole campaign for this brand new lead that came in. Okay, so we save, and we now have an action set, and let's see if it works. So we're going to go to the sending application. We're going to leave the campaign builder, and we're going to go and find a contact. In this case, I used a contact called Clay4test. Clever. And what I did with this lead, I filled out the web form that started the sequence that triggered the action set that would boot them over to the receiving application. And this is actually kind of interesting too. I want to point out that when you use this process to send a contact from one application to another, the contact still sticks around in the old application. You're not getting rid of them. So that's good. So let's see if it worked. And more importantly, not only are they in the receiving application, but are they labeled? Do they have those tags? So we're going to go to the receiving application now, and we're going to search for Clay4test. And there it is. It's here. It was booted over. Great. But does it have the tags? Let's check the tags. There they are, both tags. It has the imported lead tag and the leads tag, both tags that I told it to apply when it was booted over. So that's how you get around this unfortunate bug that will not be addressed anytime soon. And a great way to send a contact from one application to another application. So fun problem to kind of solve it, be automated. We like to do that. Find good solutions to problems to let you get more use out of your business in Infusionsoft. So thanks. We'll talk to you later.